So I am back and I am attempting this again so I can bring Allison on. Yeah, Facebook is not being the best this Sunday afternoon. So I am waiting for Miss Allison to come on so I can invite her. And hello, sir. How are you? I'm sorry. Hello, sir. How are you? Hey, Walter. What's up? Okay, I'm waiting for Allison. I don't, Allison, I don't know what's going on with this. But, Facebook is tripping today, for real. I am doing well. How are you, sir? Ah, there it is. Allison, I don't know what was going on, but I'm assuming y'all can see me and hear me clearly. What up, big wall?
I'm
Okay.
here.
This girl, I don't know what was going on. I was like, wait a minute, it's not this to add everybody else, but y'all really gonna do Allison like that? Um, Thank you, sir. Today I just kind of, with the, little puff something simple and easy, because Allison got to come over here all glamorified and everything. Let me stop just saying. I'm
Oh my
messing
God.
with you,
No,
but
I came from another appointment. Same thing. Didn't have
uh
time
huh,
to down
uh
it a little bit. I'm sorry.
That's okay because, like I said, today for me is Lazy Sunday anyway,
Yes.
and for this Sunday we starting our self care challenge and our whole self care
Yeah.
series. And if me being comfortable in my
There you
skin
go.
is,
That's right.
self care is beneficial for me, then that's what I'm gonna
That's
do.
right.
But, like I was saying on the other video, I would like to thank you all for watching. So this Sunday, and like I said, this is self-care, and we will be starting our self-care challenge this week. Now, if you happen to watch this on the replay, make sure that you comment replay and where you're from. If you find any of the information that we share beneficial, not only to you, but to someone else, be sure that you share it
Yes.
or send them an invite. Give us some hearts, some thumbs up, whatever type of emotion you are feeling today. Um, what else am I leaving out? I don't know. Oh, and if you have any questions or comments or anything, just make sure that you engage. We love engagement. We love to have questions to answer. We like feedback. We like comments. And the purpose of us doing this is so that you can start your week on a higher note than what you ended it on, or just to, get you some of that soul, that good soul to start your week off going forward.
That's right.
For those that don't know me, I am Ruby D, and I'm the goddess entrepreneur. And of course, my company is Ruby D Artistry. And I am the author of The Goddess Grind, which focuses on manifesting success while balancing your chakras. And I am an energy healer, public speaker, and of course, myself, like Allison, we are both self love advocates. And you go ahead, hun.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Allison with Be Still and Move, the organization that's been designed to help you heal, grow, and live beyond that relationship status by becoming better, not bitter, and enjoying your life along the journey. I'm a transformational coach. I'm a radio personality. I'm a budding writer. I'm a blogger, and I am a mother. And I am extremely grateful and filled with gratitude to be here to help spread more self-love to as many people as we can reach.
Yes, and I'm actually trying to share. I was trying to share as you were talking, but of course, when we talk about these different topics, then we try to talk about these topics from a personal perspective, friendship, relationship, as well as professional.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me go to my handy dandy notes. Now, we always start off with what is whatever our topic is. So, of course, what is self-care?
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is the deliberate activities that we perform regularly in order to take care of ourselves, and it helps to reduce anxiety, stress, depression. It helps to balance chakras as well as heal any personal healing or any aspect of ourselves that we wish to work on. Just like you have health care,
Mm-hmm.
you have self
Mm-hmm.
care. And today, our self care is going to focus on emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, practical, and social self care. And Allison, I thought about throwing in intimate self care or sexual self care, but I was just like, you know what? That's probably a whole nother topic, which we can still touch on it, but that's not one of the main things that we are focusing on today.
I agree.
But
Okay.
we can throw that out there because sometimes when you say that, people their ears raise like, what she say?
We could probably do a whole hour on that alone.
Exactly. And that's why I was just like, you know what, we probably shouldn't even put it in there. But one thing that self-care is not anything that we should force ourselves to do, especially if it's something that we do not enjoy doing. So always keep in mind that self-care is us participating in those activities or performing those activities that we enjoy, that we love, that make us feel good, that make us happy. And above all, always remember, self-care is not selfish. I don't care what anybody tries to say, it is not selfish, because we should always make sure that we put ourselves first in order for us to give to those that need us to give to them, such as our children or our spouses or family members. We cannot pour from an empty vessel, so don't consider this self-care challenge regimen or anything like that to be selfish, because it's not. And if somebody tells you it does, then that's definitely a red flag, that you need to take a look at when you're dealing with them. So before we get into that, Allison, what do you have to say about self-care?
uh, for once, I don't know if I have a whole lot to add to that because the definition was perfect. The examples you gave were perfect. Um, the only example I can give is for those of us who have been on planes. One of the first things they tell
Mm-hmm.
you before we take off is if we run into a situation and the oxygen masks come down, make sure you put one on you before your children. And it goes
Mm-hmm.
right along with everything Ruby just said. Self-care, it is not a selfish thing. It is you being able to have what you need for you and then to use the overflow for other people. And so I'm really excited about today's topic.
Okay, well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the first part of this self-care series, which is going to be emotional self-care. Now, y'all know I'm all about balancing chakras and everything, so of course I'm going to relate all of these to some aspect of a chakra that may need balancing for you to take heed of. Now, with our first topic being emotional self-care, of course, our emotional chakra is our second chakra, which is our sacral. And of course, that's associated with our emotions, our feelings, sexuality, and creativity. Now, a lot of people want to act as if they are in control of their emotions, or sometimes they don't even want to really acknowledge the emotion behind things that happen to them. But we're made from emotion. That's how we identify how we feel about certain situations. So how are you able to effectively communicate how you feel if you don't want to acknowledge the fact that we are emotional people? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being emotional. if you know how to work with it.
Right.
If you don't let your emotions control you, and you don't let your emotions. Hey, Marquita, how you doing? Thank you for watching. Thank you. And emotions are, if you're in touch with them and you understand them and you know what they mean, then emotions can actually work to your benefit as opposed to you thinking it's working to your detriment. So with emotional self-care, and I actually need to pull up, girl, I have all kind of stuff I'm working with this week. But with emotional self-care, yeah, that's pretty much all, all I'm just gonna say about that. If for some reason you when your sacral chakra is unbalanced, then you're not in touch with your emotions, or either sometimes you're too in touch with your emotions and you're dramatic. Being dramatic is not good. Do not be the drama queen or the drama king, because of course, you know, people they don't want to be around you. They don't want to deal with you. And we have to learn to take care of ourselves in that area. If we can identify when we're being overly dramatic, or overly emotional, or not emotional enough, then we can, enact or start doing certain activities to help us become more in touch with that emotional side of us. That's for men too. Men, it's okay for you all to be emotional. If your girlfriend or your lady or whoever tells you that it's not, then you probably need to leave her right where she is. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Men, it's okay to be emotional. And it's okay to be open about your feelings and whatnot. And Allison, I'm going to actually let you kind of chime in now while I'm bringing up some other stuff that I need to read.
Okay, so the emotional self-care, what I'd like to add to that is it's important for you to be in touch with your emotions so that you can also make sure that you're not being swayed by other people's opinions. And one of the reasons that I say that is because there's I'll say it's an epidemic, because I have seen it a lot, especially with the couples that I counsel. And typically what will happen is the man will automatically jump to the dramatic accusation. But the woman who is so in love with the man that she's focusing so much on not being dramatic, when I really dig down deep into what their particular issues are, she's not being dramatic. She's saying stuff he don't want to deal with. And had she been more aware, and this can go both ways, but if you are aware of when you are at peace, when you are going in a state of being emotionally balanced, when you feel that you are getting a little over that balance or out of balance, you can determine that for yourself. If you don't know what it feels to be emotionally balanced, and anytime you're accused of being dramatic, you have a tendency to think that that's what it is. Oh, well, I'm a woman, maybe I am. Or, oh, I have this going on, so maybe I am. But it's really important for you to know what emotionally balanced feels like for you. That way, you can actually check yourself before someone else has to tell you. But you're also in a position where you can not deal with the projection that you may deal with from other people who just don't want to hear what you're having to say, because it's either right or it's going to cause conflict, or you're asking questions that they just don't want to answer at that point. So that's what I wanted to put out there.
Okay. Thank you, April, for watching. And for my live viewers, we appreciate you being here.
What's up, Randy?
If you have any questions or any comments or anything, just type them below and I will make sure that I read them. Phyllis, thank you for watching. If you have any feedback or anything, just comment it below or put it in the comment section, and we'll make sure that we address it. Now, after, and we're kind of going to go through these, touch on these, and kind of keep it moving, because we try to keep the time within, a certain time frame, is not to go over. So if for some reason we happen to miss somebody's comment or question or anything like that, forgive us. We'll make sure that we answer it, even if we have to answer it in the form of a reply to your comment.
Hey, Ruby,
Next, we're going to
I
move to,
think Phyllis
yeah,
is saying that she's hearing actual feedback, and I think I hear it too. There's some background noise somewhere.
yeah, that's probably me.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, can they hear that? And I was like, well, maybe not because nobody has said anything. But thank you, Phyllis, and thank you, Allison, because I was like, I wonder if they can hear that. Well, if somebody hears something, they'll say something. But is that okay now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, that's what it was then. But after where we're next gonna move to spiritual self-care. Um, and of course, with spiritual self-care, I'm not gonna really say that it has to do with your religion or spirituality or anything like that per se, but it's pretty much more focused on you and your connection to, sorry, to the spiritual world, and what you do to make sure that that's a good connection for you, or it's a healthy connection, as opposed to something that's not so healthy and something that's not beneficial for you. Um, all of us, to some degree, look at spirituality the same way, as in your connection to God, your connection to the spiritual world, or your connection to the universe, or whomever it is that you choose to identify with. And that's completely fine, but there are certain things that we can do to make sure that we have, once again, a healthy relationship when it comes to that. And when I'm speaking of that, it has a lot to do with how we treat people, how we respect people, the morals that we have, the values that we possess. And the overall point is to basically do unto others of you as you would have them do unto you. And that has a lot to do with your spirituality, as far as how you treat people and how you want people to treat you. So in that aspect, I wanted us to touch on some spiritual self-care, because that may include prayer, and meditation. And let's not confuse prayer and meditation with being the same thing. Prayer is more so you speaking to God, you speaking to the universe, you speaking to Jesus, or you speaking to whoever you identify with, and putting out there those requests that you have, those things that you want, those questions that you want answered. As with meditation, meditation is more so you listening for those answers, you listening for um, those responses, you focusing more on listening as opposed to actually asking for anything. And meditation is not always about sitting in the dark. It's whatever puts you in that zone for you to focus and calms you and puts you in a happy place for you to be able to receive that message or that information. Then that's meditation for you. um Allison, you can go ahead and chime in on that if you so please.
Yes, ma'am. So, with the spiritual piece, I want to re-emphasize that it is not related to religion. And the reason that I want to emphasize that is because, and I'm only speaking from my experience, but it was my experience going through the previous religion I was associated with, that it got to a point I spent so much time trying to check things off of a list in terms of what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I could wear, what I couldn't wear. It seemed to be more of a make sure you're being quote unquote perfect than actually having a relationship with the entity that I was supposed to be following at that time. And that was one of the quickest ways when I finally had my fill of that I realized, okay, there is a difference. There's a distinct difference between religion and spirituality. And as I had gotten to that point of basically being out here discovering God for myself, discovering the universe for myself, no longer feeling that I was bound by a particular belief or book or code of ethics, and realizing that a lot of that was already in me when I was born, I was able to begin to develop that spiritual balance and that spiritual self-care. And I was able to know that I could pray and I could still pray, and I could meditate without feeling like that was bad, because that was something that I had been taught. Meditation is bad. Meditation is bad. And
Mm-hmm.
the way that Ruby described it is absolutely right. Prayer is you speaking to that entity, or you speaking to the universe, and you don't have to do it a particular way. Creator knows how he or she made you. The creator knows
Mm-hmm.
what experiences that you have, what dialect you're going to pick up, what language and vernacular you're going to use. And so I stopped thinking that I had to do thous and thuses. And some of you are going to laugh when you see this, but that was literally some of the things that it's got to be perfect, and it's got to be, poignant. And I wasn't hearing anything. But when I just started talking to God like I was Allison, God, this doesn't make sense. Well, God, good morning. And, thank you for this. And when I did that, I started to finally feel that connection. And so then I was able to understand that the prayer is making those petitions, is, venting your frustrations or whatever it is that you're dealing with that may be bothering you at the time. And meditation is what balances you back out. Meditation is where you say, okay, I've gotten all of that out. Now let me take this moment and get centered. And when I'm centered, that's when I'm going to start hearing the answers to some of those questions, because you're not going to hear it while you're still in those emotions. That's where all that balance is coming back into play. So that's all I've got.
Right. Okay, and we definitely thank you all for watching, and we're gonna keep saying that. So if y'all gonna get tired of hearing it, I'm sorry.
What's up, Miss
But
D?
we appreciate you watching. Definitely feel, if you want to share it, by all means do so. If you have any questions, leave any questions, comments, give us some hearts, some thumbs up, some smiley faces. You can even give us some angry faces. We don't care. Okay, now we've touched on emotional, we've touched on spiritual. We're now going to move on to mental self-care. Now, with your mental self-care, that's basically focusing on making sure that you stay sane, that you don't go crazy, that you don't let what is going on around us, put you in this place where you're just losing it. And trust me, it's plenty going on right now that we could really go crazy and psycho about, but that in no way is going to be beneficial to any of us. So we all have to keep a level head.
Yep.
We all have to make sure that we stay focused. And honestly, everything that's going on around us is beyond our control. The only thing that we can control is ourselves or what's within our household. And that's what you should focus on. So we definitely want to make sure that we put some mental self-care in there, because it's crazy. Y'all see it, I see it, everybody sees it. It's just ridiculous. And pretty much that's all we really got to touch on in that area. That's all I got to say. I don't want you snapping around me.
Yep.
If anything, I'm gonna try to talk you down. Hey, what's wrong? You hungry? You hungry right now? Get some eggs or some omelets or something. I'm thirsty too. We can, what we got to do to work this out. That's just me. But I'm just saying that just goes without going too much into detail. We just got to make sure that we just stay mentally focused.
I agree.
And that, Allison, you got anything for that? Are you good?
The only thing I could add to that, because it really is simple, is the number one rule that I found, at least for mental self-care, is to understand that being mentally tough does not equate being emotionally numb. There is still a place, like Ruby said in the beginning, there is still a place for your emotions. And so what I want you to walk away with is understanding it is okay if something has hurt you, angered you, frustrated you. If you've reached the end of your rope with something, it is 100% okay for you to feel those feelings, because the thing is, if you don't address them, they just come out later, but they come out in a way that you can't control. So one of the things that I'm a very big proponent of, especially when I see in myself what happens when I try to hold on to things for too long, you will blow up. You will, just like Ruby said, you'll snap. Somebody will give you the wrong soda, and you'll bite their
Right.
heads off verbally, but it's because you're still mad about something that happened with a mother or a father or a boyfriend or girlfriend that you haven't addressed. And those things fester. They fester. And so the number one rule that I would give anyone for mental self-care is to please give yourself time to feel and to vent. Get in a room and scream. Get in a room and cry. Hit your pillow. Throw something against the wall. Do something so that you can acknowledge to yourself that what you're feeling is valid. That's when you can come back down and say, okay, I've gotten it out. Now what do I do to address it? But to skip that step is one of the biggest problems that I see people have, especially with anger issues.
Uh, okay. Now, on to the next one. Because we, like I said, we're gonna kind of move through these because it's really self-explanatory in a sense, but we still want to make sure that we break it down a little bit
Yeah.
and explain it and give you the opportunity to ask any questions if you have any. If you happen to watch this on the replay, type replay and let us know where you're watching from. Okay, after mental, of course, is physical. You definitely want to take care of yourself. You want to make sure you eat right, drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep. You know what? I don't know where y'all get this team no sleep from, but y'all need to stop that.
Say that one more time.
Taking that. I am team sleep all day, every day for the rest of my life.
Okay.
You all have no idea how many ideas come to me in my sleep, in my dreams, the type of messages, stuff like that. Y'all snap on a lot of stuff if y'all not getting enough sleep. And then y'all wondering why you waking up mad because you know you didn't get no sales for the day or whatever it is. Team sleep over here. You know, I need my full 7 to 8 hours plus my naps and whatever else I need. But that is key to, you know, being healthy and being physically, you know, taking care of yourself physically. Eating, drinking plenty of water, and you know, a lot of people don't touch on this, which I'm really not a nutritionist, but you know, you all of us can't eat the same things. All of us don't digest things the same way. You kind of have to eat based on your blood type, and you know, just take a look into that. That may be something that you know you want to consider to make sure that you're getting the proper nutrients for the blood type that you have. And for everybody, that's not cheeseburgers, that's not ribs, that's not milk, almond milk. I mean, I don't even drink regular milk. That's a whole different topic. But I'm just saying, even if it's just taking a walk, even if it's just going up and down the stairs a few extra times, parking at the far end of the parking lot instead of, you know, at the very first one after the handicap spot. You know, physical self-care is little things like that. And it's not you have to go from eating every meat out there to vegan in a week. No, you can make small changes, and those small changes will make a huge difference. Instead of eating meat, get half the amount of meat that you would normally get, but get twice as many vegetables or twice as many or something like that. You know, just something like that. Eat from a smaller plate. Simple little things. You can take it, Allison.
So the physical self-care, everything from the exercise to the sleep, what I want us to understand is everything that we find that we have to do at some point. You can say dehydration means that you need more fluids. Exhaustion means you need more sleep. Anytime that you find that you're in a deficiency in something, I want you to understand that we were created to need it and that it all works together. The sleep does work together. One of the things that I've noticed, because I was team no sleep for a while, I'm a night owl by nature. I can stay up. I don't seem to perk up until 9, 10 o'clock at night. And that's usually when I should be winding it down. And so in some instances, I am going against my nature because of the fact that I still have a 9 to 5, quote unquote, and I need to get up. But one of the things that I have noticed when I start forcing myself to go to sleep and get those 7 hours, because I figured out that that is what I need, I do dream more. I do wake up a little bit easier. Some days I wake up a lot easier, and I may even wake up before the alarm goes off. but I wake up with dreams that I get to research. I get to wake up with ideas that I may not have thought about or wouldn't have received if I was
Mm-hmm.
so exhausted that all my brain wanted me to do was just go to sleep. And so everything
Right.
has its own role. You walking around, there's times that I walk around my complex here. It's for the fresh air. It's for the grounding. It's for the opportunity to just be one with nature. And that may sound kind of bohemian or whatever to some people, but everything that we're around is what we need. We need the air for a reason. We need the opportunity to be outside for a reason. We need those things. And so if you notice
Right.
that you're having a deficiency in something, it is usually a clear sign that you're neglecting something that you think can be neglected, but it's not helping you. Food, water, there is such a thing as lower vibrational food, and lower vibrational
Mm-hmm.
food is your fast food. If you can get it quickly, if you just have to wait in line, pay $5 or less, and you can eat it on the way home, that is 9 times out of 10 a lower vibrational food. And if you're in a lower
Right.
vibration, you can't get to the vibration you need to have questions answered, to get ideas, to get, evolution in certain parts of your life. So it's very important that you understand that while we're in a society of people who just say eat, 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 we've got to shift it from eating because it's there to eating for a purpose. And
Right.
all of those things can help with your body, which you ultimately need to have before anything else can actually be successful in your life. So that's all I've got.
Keep telling y'all, balance is
Yes, it
key.
is.
Balance is key. Okay, so we've talked about emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical
Mm-hmm.
self-care. Now we're going to move on to practical self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And practical self-care basically focuses on more of like budgeting and finance and things that you do every day.
Yeah.
Like for instance, um of course, for us that still work a regular job, okay, we gotta fit going to work, fit picking up kids from the school, fit in extracurricular activities that they have, let alone if we go work out or if we have to have a business meeting with somebody or all of these other things that we do. We want to try to plan as much as that as we
Mm-hmm.
can. Like for instance, meal prepping is very beneficial because then you don't have to worry about spending extra money, stopping to get food, and then eating those low vibrational foods that Allison was talking about, and then you wondering why you walk around with heartburn, gas, and stomach problems, and headaches, and all of this other kind of stuff. So practical self care is basically putting into place activities or things or schedules for those practical things that we do every single day. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with that because you know exactly where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing. So then when those last minute things come up, then you know exactly where you are on your schedule to know whether or not, it can fit in or how much time you have, or even if you have to, go to that backup person. A lot of us, it's unfortunate in a way that we don't have that whole village mentality anymore because if you have to pick up your child from school and you running late and there's nobody that you can call, that to me is, kind of like a problem. And it's just like, and I don't want to say that's a problem in a bad way to say you're a bad parent or anything like that, but it's just that we have to start to get back to those times where we were able to call someone that we trust to say, well, hey, I'm running late. Can you pick up such and such from school? Or can you pick up such and such from practice? Or something like that. But part of practical self care is to have, those plans in place just in case things happen. It could be um, just more focused on time management and just making plans and schedules to make our daily lives easier. Because we already talked about, that mental self care and everything else that's going on. We are already bombarded with that. It's no reason for us to make it more difficult for ourselves when all we need to do is just come up with a plan for something simple. And that's all I got.
Well, I'll add to it. This is one of the biggest areas for me. I stay on this particular area of self-care a lot with the Facebook lives that I do and the things that I talk to people about, because this overall practical self-care, this is the area that makes or breaks a lot of other areas in your life. If you don't make the time to meditate, then you have that particular area of self-care that's off. If you don't make the time to meal prep and you go continue to do the low vibrational foods and things like that because it's quick and easy, that area of your self-care isn't handled. If you don't give yourself time to sleep, if you don't give yourself time to or permission to tell someone that something they've done has hurt you or something that you're dealing with has upset you, if you don't do those things, everything else is out of whack. And so this is one of the, if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure out, you're a little overwhelmed and you're like, well, where do I start? This would be the one that I would suggest you start with. Check your finances, check your budget. I'm very big on that. Anybody who follows me know that I do Financial Fridays and we talk about these things. You want to focus on, you can look at it as most people say the kitchen is the heart of the home. So focus on the practical self-care being the kitchen of your soul. Because if you know what your budget looks like, you know what you can buy, what you can't buy, and you can just start from there. My two biggest things that have helped me, I am still working on time management. That has been a hard thing for me because I've always just been able to figure things out. And it's not that I never needed time management. I was just able to figure it out. But as more is given to me to do, I'm finding that is a deficiency. And so I am working on that. But one thing that has helped me tremendously is the meal prep every Sunday. And lately it's been as soon as I finish with our Soul Sunday here. I make sure Friday or Saturday I've gone to the grocery store, I've gotten the vegetables, I've gotten the fruit, I figured out what we're going to have for the week. And I spend, the next hour to hour and a half, I separate our fruit out, I separate our vegetables out, I separate things out in these little plastic Ziploc bags. But I do it for two purposes. I do it, number one, because it will save time and it's not something that I'll have to do every night. But the second reason is because part of that physical self-care is learning not to overeat. If you go ahead and portion things out, your mind has this connection to this small bag of a Ziploc bag instead of this entire container of strawberries, for instance. You finish what's in that bag, you're done. And that's something that I really want my son to learn now, because he could eat everything in a day. he really could.
He's like, it's in there. I thought I could eat it because it's in there.
And he just keeps eating it. But when he sees that bag and it's gone, he's like, okay, then I'm full. And that's literally sometimes all we need to do for portion control and everything. If we just break it down into what a serving actually is, that's one of those things that can help us too. And so that practical self-care is the hub of everything else working smoothly.
Right. And, it even works the same with money. If you know you only got $30 this week for gas or whatever your entertainment is going to be for the week, then, you go about spending that money just a little differently.
Yes, you do.
You don't, tap into other, areas of what, you have to spend money on, but you are a lot more careful about how you spend, about how you eat, and about how you do certain things when you only allot yourself, when you can only see how much you have. You be like, okay, this is in front of me, this is what I see, this is all I got. You don't focus on everything. Just because you get a paycheck don't mean you have to spend your whole paycheck on entertainment, or you have to spend the whole paycheck on one thing.
That's right. And
not everybody do that, but I'm just saying, when you see that smaller, if you only got 5 strawberries instead of 15, you eat them 5 a lot differently than you do when you have
you
15.
Really do. And the only reason I didn't touch money is because I'm so passionate about that. You would have had to tell me to shut up, but you're right. It is very true. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm very passionate about that financial part, but
Right. That's a whole
that's a whole
nother,
other topic.
a whole
But
nother.
yes, that is absolutely right. Learn to understand that self-denial is not a bad thing. It's just not. Especially if it's delayed gratification. That means that there is a reward at the end of it. You just have to
Hey,
you
girl, yes.
you have to
Yes.
determine what that
Yes,
reward
yes.
is. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna
Exactly.
stop there.
We're gonna come back to that. Watch, we're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
Now the last one is social self-care.
Yes.
Even though we like our own time and being alone and just being to ourselves, not having to deal with everybody's energy and especially those with negative energy and whatnot, we still have to interact with other people. It's still healthy for us to go out and hang out with friends. It's still healthy for us to get out of the house. It's still healthy for us to be social. Now, some of us do take that overboard, and when we say social self-care, it's not social media self-care. Every once in a while, you might want to check in on social media if you just use it for personal purposes. But get out of the house. Stop being an introvert all the time.
Yeah.
As much as I love being by myself and as much as I love my own companionship and whatnot, I still find time to go out and talk to other people, to network with other people, hey, you can't really have the type of relationship that you want by yourself. I mean, even though we are self-love and self-care advocates, we still need, that other portion of interaction from other humans, from other people. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, all I got for social self-care and for what it is. I'm not gonna give you all some long drawn out definitions because like I said, a lot of this is pretty, self-explanatory. Thank you everybody for watching. Maggie, thank you for tuning in. If you feel like any of this information is beneficial and you want to share it, please do so. Feel free to ask us any questions. Allison, what did you have for social self-care? Any input?
Yeah, the only thing that I would add to that is understand that there is a place for physical touch. And that's one of the, when you're talking about the social setting and being around people and networking with people, all of that is important. But what some of us don't understand is what the power of touch can do. And I don't mean in a sexual way or anything like that, but there is an innate need that we all have for that physical touch of another person, to just have that energy transference. Now, of course, you want to watch who you're touching and who you're allowing to touch you, but you do want to make sure that you're experiencing some form of a connection from someone else, because that can start to deplete other areas of your life. Not feeling that sense of touch is one of the biggest reasons that people feel loneliness. It can exacerbate someone's anxiety or depression that's already there. And so that physical touch, that hug, that, how are you doing? That pat on the back, that tap on the arm, all of those things are designed to release different chemicals in you that help you withstand whatever it is that you're dealing with. And so don't push that away. Don't let it go too far. Now, touch doesn't mean it needs to lead to the bedroom or the back seat or whatever, or anything like that. But make sure that you are allowing yourself to feel those things. And, some people may think that is a little, I did. But, I don't know if people have read up on this, but, there are hospitals that are asking for people to come and cuddle babies who have either been left by their parents to be put up for adoption, or are drug babies that are going through the withdrawal because their mother was on drugs, because they have already seen that baby receiving that touch is helping them get through the withdrawal symptoms quicker. Now, on the other end, there are people who are actually paying people to cuddle with. Now, that I'm not gonna be a supporter of that. There's got to be somebody that you can hug for free, but there are people who are making money going to people's homes and cuddling them. And so it may sound crazy, but to those people who miss that hug and that connection, it's worth the money to them. So don't discount that. Even if you're the most least affectionate person ever, get a hug every now and then. It is going to help you chemically speaking. It just will.
Right. It'll help your
It
mental,
does.
that mental and emotional.
Yes.
So now that we touched on all of our self-care parts, which includes emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, practical, and social, now we get to the part of our self-care challenge for December.
Yes.
So, with participating in the self-care challenge, it's free,
Yes.
but with doing so, we actually have a file that contains different activities, anywhere from maybe about 7 to 10 different activities that you could do or choose from to do daily. And we recommend doing at least one for each part on a daily basis. Like for instance, emotional self-care. Actually, let me go to practical self-care. Practical self-care could be schedule your setting a specific time each week to go to the grocery store. So, if you know you get paid every Friday and that's the first thing that you want to take care of, then make sure every Friday at whatever time you set to go to the grocery store. And of course, for each one, emotional, mental, spiritual, so on and so forth, you could pick any activity from the list and actually do it. Now, we want you to share at least one picture of you doing one of these activities on social media. And when you share it on social media, we want you to hashtag Soul Sunday Challenge, the Goddess Grind, and Be Still and Move. Now, go ahead and save them. Just go ahead and save them hashtags and plus all the other ones that you're going to put in there. Just go ahead and save those. We actually have a Facebook group that if you want to participate, we'll put you in the group, because in the group, I'm actually going to do weekly guided meditation sessions, guided mindfulness meditation sessions. And we'll actually be talking about some different soul-to-soul topics and tips and discussions in there, a minimum of once per week. And that's outside of our, Soul Sunday discussions every Sunday. And with doing that, what I want you all to do is, when Allison was talking about rewards, for each week that you complete, it's pretty much going to be at least 6 activities, because there were 6 different parts, but at least 6 activities. And of course, watching the discussions or participating in the guided meditation. But what we want you to do is to set up a reward system for yourself. So for each week that you complete it, then whatever reward you've given yourself for the week, then you could definitely take advantage of it. And then we want you to also come up with an even bigger reward that you will give to yourself once we've completed this month. And that's pretty simple. I didn't want to make it too complicated or anything. But if you want to participate, then let us know and we can put you in the group. But in the group, there are a couple of questions. We want to know, what you wish or what you want to accomplish while being in the group, as well as if you're going to engage. There's really no point in being in the group if you're really not going to engage, because that can actually be a form of your social self-care, engaging with people. But we wanted to keep it pretty simple, and we wanted to start it now instead of starting at the beginning of the year, because by the time the beginning of the year rolls around, we want this to be a habit, and it's something that you continue going into the new year.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. What do you think about it? Now, Allison, now you know we got to participate.
Yes, we do.
So if I be in there posting 50 pictures, don't y'all say nothing. We just want y'all to post at least one so we can hold you accountable and say, well, hey, is this all you did all day? Well, at least you did something because you could have did nothing.
Exactly.
And of course, some of the stuff on the list may be things that you already do, which is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
fine. But definitely incorporate something new.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with trying new things.
Yes. I'm looking
I'm gonna have
forward
to see
to
if
it.
I can try that whole meal prep thing, cause I be eating up some stuff.
I'm telling you, it is so, and I get in there and I listen to the meditation music or I listen to a motivational message while I'm in there. And it is one of
Mm-hmm.
the best things that I've done. It's just so much easier now. So yeah, I recommend that.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
Oh, and I don't have a soul to soul tip this week, but that's okay because we got a challenge. Focus on the challenge. That's the tip. Focus on the challenge. But um if you want to participate in the challenge, just comment below
Yes.
or either send me or Allison a message and we can put you in the group. It's actually going to start today. And in the group, it does have the information or the tasks that you can choose from for each part of this self-care challenge, as well as the instructions or the directions or whatever you want to call them that I just went over. And definitely invite other people to do it with you. Hold yourself even more accountable. You know, sometimes we always don't want to be accountable for ourselves. We want to focus on other people and be like, ain't you supposed to be doing such and such all in somebody else's lane? You know, get them in there too. That's absolutely fine.
That'll be fun too.
Go ahead.
Hey, we
Right.
talked about a circle. We talked about making sure that you're in the right circle. See if you have a circle of people that want you to grow, or if you have a circle of people
Exactly.
that want you to be exactly who you are forever because it's comfortable for them. This is one way to sniff all that out.
You got a point. You got a point right on that one. So, of course, I'm trying to make sure. Oh, next week, even though we're talking about self-care today, we're still going to continue with self-care for the month of December. So next Sunday, we're going to be talking about effective communication with self. So that's our topic next week. So make sure y'all stay tuned or tune in next Sunday for that.
Yes.
And join the challenge.
Join the
Y'all
challenge.
better join this challenge. I didn't put in the time and she didn't put in the energy. Y'all better join this challenge, and stop playing. I don't want to hear no New Year, new me. No, December, new you. But how about that? That's what we're going to focus. Start on that. That's where we're going to start. So, of course, y'all know I'm Ruby D, the Goddess Entrepreneur. And you can find me, of course, here on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Ruby D Artistry. My website, www.thegoddessgrind.com. Oh, wait, where my book at? Y'all know I got to put my little plug in there. Go buy the book.
I was wondering where it
was. Go buy the book. You're going to learn all about chakras, balancing chakras, and manifesting success. Go buy the book. I have paperback and I have the ebook. Stop playing. And you can find me on YouTube, Ruby Davidson. Just type it in, youtube.com/Ruby Davidson. That was her, Allison.
I am Allison Denise on Facebook. You can find me for Be Still and Move. You can find me on Facebook under Be Still and Move. If you add an exclamation point, you can then ask for acceptance into our closed group where we do certain topics based off the theme of that day. I am on Instagram and YouTube under I Will Be Still and Move. Make sure you also subscribe to the website, bestillandmove.org. And I do have the HDL group, my new nonprofit that is the parent company of Be Still and Move. We are, yes, that took some time, but I am grateful that it's done. And we've got a lot of things coming down the pipe for that. And DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, don't forget, next Saturday, I am doing the final monthly roundtable. Now, I do have something else down the pipe for next year, but in terms of monthly roundtables, this is it. We are doing our final monthly roundtable. So if you haven't been or you haven't been in a while, this is your last chance to come see one before they're over. Last chance. So I hope to see as many people as I can out next Saturday, 6 o'clock. We'll be at the Comfort Suites in Las Colinas. You know where it is.
Okay, let me make sure real quick I'm not forgetting anything. You know what? I comment it later if I remember. But again, if you want to join the group, comment below or message either one of us. If you watch this on the replay, type replay and where you're from. And definitely, if you have any questions, you can always comment below and we can always come back and answer it. But we will see you next Sunday when we talk about effective communication with self, and we'll be reviewing our first full week of this self-care challenge. Y'all better join us. Don't have us in here doing this by ourselves now.
Don't do it.
That is so not right. I will put some people in there, like my mama and my sister. I will put some people in there. But we'd like to thank you all for checking us out this Sunday as we talked about self-care and starting our self-care challenge. And that's it.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.